Hi, Stitchy friends. I was waiting for you. I'll start again. Hi, Stitchy friends. I'm Eirinn. Hi, Stitchy friends. I'm Eirinn.
And I'm Rona, and together we are Tangled Threads and Things.
And today, oh my gosh, we're not doing well here. Today we are doing a little stitch along, although maybe I shouldn't use that term because that means something in
It's more of a stitch with us.
Stitch with us. So we have our threads picked out here, a green and just 2 random threads. And if you go to our website, you can get this free chart. So pause this video, head there to the free chart section, scroll down till you see this. Is this a tulip?
Yes.
Grab this chart, come back. We're just not doing well today. And we're just gonna blab a little bit.
Stitch and blab.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you should have called it.
Stitch and blab. Perfect.
Get to know us, that's the thing. We're going to just be stitching and talking.
And we'd love to get to know you as well, so make sure to
comment. Yes, that would be nice to get to know fellow stitchers. Okay, so I have chosen just a random lilac and a random green. I love that colour combination. I just randomly picked it and I think it came out really.
And then I felt the pressure to get a good combination too. Can't let you win.
Is it a competition?
No.
So the thing about this chart is, although it was, I can't remember what the colours were, you don't have to use those specific colours. Any tulip colours would work. So here's what we did previously. So you can see different greens, different colours for the actual tulip flower. Just grab whatever thread you have available.
Whatever you'd like to stitch with.
Start stitching. So.
Oh, we didn't cut our fabric. This was going to be for both of us.
Oh, right.
I'll just cut it in half real quick.
Right.
So if you don't know us, as we said, I'm Eirinn.
And I'm Rona.
And so we run the website tangledthreadsandthings.com, and we like to cross stitch.
And chat. We do a lot of both. Probably a lot more chatting.
Yeah.
And stitching. Anyway, can I pinch a needle from
here?
So I got Eirinn this as part of her Christmas, which is a little magnetic tin for needles. And I just grabbed it because I thought, oh, it's nice with, I know you like lemon, so I just grabbed it for that, but it's so good. I wish I'd bought one for myself, actually.
Yeah, I actually put all my needles in it.
And it's so, I didn't realise how magnetic it would be, if that makes sense. I didn't realise how strong the magnet would be. I thought that your needles would still rattle around, so I really like that. You know, that's a really, especially if you've got, as you say, like, you know, with you having the little one, it's, you don't want needles
I don't know if
slipping out or anything.
I think I said that to you before. So I like it because I've got a 1-year-old, so I like knowing where all my needles are. So I took every single needle in our house and it's now in here, and I really like that because I know that he's not gonna stumble upon a needle.
Yeah. So yeah, I like that. I'm trying to thread my needle.
Oh, me as well.
I was trying to be, you know, good. And oh my goodness, look at the rain outside. I shouldn't have said that because we're on. I was trying to be good and not stick my thread at, you know, look at that. It's the only way I can thread a needle, even with my glasses on. Oh dear.
Okay, there's mine threaded.
Right, so hopefully you've got your needle and thread and your fabric already, and we can start stitching. Are you just diving in?
Yeah.
You're not even finding the middle?
Nope.
Oh my goodness. So if you're new to cross stitching, you normally start your chart and you're stitching from the middle of your chart and work it out. So to make sure that you've always got enough fabric, so what you do is you fold your fabric in half this way and then the other way. And this point here is the middle of your fabric, and then you start from the middle of your chart here.
Or
but you can really do that.
I mean, it's a small chart. I can eyeball it. I can see that it's going to be fine.
I know, I was just thinking if it was a beginner that was following us, they might want to know exactly.
Not pick up our bad habits. Oh,
I've
already got a knot.
So
What's your favorite thing to stitch? Like what
Favorite
sort of,
subject?
what, I don't know, I didn't really think about it when I asked the question. Like what?
I don't have a favorite thing to stitch. I think I go just whatever sort of calls to me, whatever speaks to me. So I can stitch anything. I don't really mind, as long as I like the chart. I will stitch it. I don't have a favorite, subject. I know some people, like to stitch birds, or they like to stitch Christmas or whatever. I'll stitch anything. I just like to be stitching. I've got to say, I do like in the evening to be stitching. I don't like to just sit and watch the television or something. I have to have
something
in my hands. Yeah, I just need to count how many stitches first of all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I like small charts. I like, things that don't overwhelm me, things that make me feel like I'm making progress. And I know you can have that with big charts as well, but that just doesn't do it for me. I
That's
just
the
feel
thing,
overwhelmed.
everybody's different, and it really doesn't matter. It's your hobby. You're supposed to enjoy it. You're supposed to, be relaxed or whatever. So each to their own. You seem to be stitching away really quick.
Because I didn't have to find the middle.
I can't find the hole in this. Really, the light must be really bad. I'm going to blame the lighting. Nothing to do with the old eyesight. Okay.
Favorite designer?
Again, I don't really have a favourite designer per se. I think I just go by what the design is, So I have, there's certain designers I really like, who I admire, but I wouldn't stitch a design just because that designer has designed it. I would have to like it to stitch it, if that makes sense.
So some of your favorite designers?
Joan Elliott. Well, the one we're always going about is Doreen Jones,
she's
because
amazing.
she's just wonderful. She's so talented, and she does so many different styles and everything. So yes, I like her. I don't know who else. What about you? You've got to see your mum.
Well, yeah, that yeah. Can I tell the story about Randall Spangler?
No, I think you've already started, so yeah.
I could cut it out. I have always liked Randall Spangler's artwork. Didn't know he was a cross stitch, like his charts had been turned into cross stitch. And so I've always liked his dragling prints. And
they're gorgeous. I mean,
and one day she gets a friend request from Randall Spangler, and I was like, oh, what? My favorite artist just friended you on Facebook? Like, how cool is that? It's because you're a known cross stitch designer. You're a Randall Spangler.
Yeah, it's cool though. I mean, his stuff is lovely.
He's amazing.
It's really...
So I like his stuff, but I probably wouldn't stitch it. I just want it on my walls. As prints.
These artworks are gorgeous. I mean, they really are.
They're too. I think they're just too big for me.
Okay, I've got a question for you, but I can't take credit for the question. So I follow Johanna Basford, the illustrator. The woman who does all the colouring books. I follow her, and she's
Scottish as well, isn't she?
She's from Aberdeen. So she was, I was on her Instagram account. She was up a hill walking with her friends, and she said on her Instagram, she said something about, she was peppering them with questions such as this question I'm going to ask you, because I thought it was a fantastic question, was what is your favourite biscuit to dunk in your tea? I thought that was just such a cool question, because that says a lot about a person. What would be your favourite biscuit?
Oh, that's easy, a digestive biscuit. Milk chocolate digestive.
Oh, right, okay. I thought you were going to say a plain one. I was like, oh, that's a weird one.
Why is that weird?
Because it's such a plain biscuit. That's what I was thinking. I thought you'd have picked a fancier biscuit, you see.
Oh, than a digestive?
Yeah.
No, because
I
wouldn't dunk that in tea, though.
Well, you don't drink tea.
I don't drink tea.
Yeah, that's true. So if it was me, I would choose a malted milk for dunking in my tea. Malted milk biscuits are to die for, especially when they're dunked in your tea. So what would be your favourite biscuit then? And it's completely random. Are we doing like
Scottish or just in general?
Just what your totally favourite biscuit?
Probably a digestive.
Really? I'm surprised.
What other options do I have?
I don't know. Whatever your favourite. I mean, as I say, it's just whatever your favourite biscuit is.
Comment your favourite biscuits below.
So that was my totally random question, and we can thank Johanna Basford for that, because I just thought it was a really totally random, but quite,
And if you need a
interesting
good
one.
colouring book, her Lost Oceans, I think it's called Lost Oceans. It's an ocean themed colouring book. So
All
good.
her books are good.
Yeah.
The World's a Wonder one's nice as well. I like that one too.
I don't have anything at the
Look
top
at
of
you,
my
look how
head.
quick you are.
Yeah, but you've also been chatting more. That's my thing. Once I start to stitch, I'm like super focused. So I thought we'd be able to really easily stitch and blab, but I kind of get absorbed in my stitching. What's your favorite cross stitch magazine?
Well, there's not so many of them nowadays, because a lot of them closed down at the start of the pandemic. So there's very few. Probably the World of Cross Stitching. I used to like, and this magazine hasn't been around for ages, but Cross Stitch Card Shop was a really nice one, and it was just all small cross stitch. What have you done? Oh, I thought you had a note or something.
So I've had several.
Cross Stitch Card Shop was a nice magazine because it was all small designs.
Oh, I would have liked that then.
Yeah, specifically for cards, but you could make small ornaments or something out of them. So yeah. So what about you? What's your favourite one then?
Well, if I'm being honest, I haven't really looked at a lot of magazines. Mostly because like you introduced me to cross stitch, so I've been around your designs my whole life. So if I wanted to stitch, I would growing up I would do your designs, and then I just got back into stitching at mid-pandemic, and at that point then I started designing, and I was looking at the American magazines, so I've really only seen just cross stitch.
Right.
Because I've submitted to them. So stay tuned, because maybe you'll see Nori 2.0 designs. I'm just kidding. Never gonna be as good as her. But so I don't really know. I would probably say just cross stitch, just because that's what I'm familiar with. But
I think that's the only one I really see, the only American one I see here, which is funny. I mean, I always think it's strange because it seems to be such a popular hobby, but there's not so many magazines. I guess people are doing, getting their patterns online and things. That's probably what it is. But yeah. Do you know any other stitchers?
I do. My best friend and my sister-in-law both stitch, and my other best friend, who doesn't seem like she's going to be crafty at all, picks up crafts really easily. I taught her to cross stitch as well.
Who's that?
Becca.
Oh,
well, I didn't teach her. You sent her a care package and we taught her that way. I don't know if she's done it, but I imagine she has, just because she's really good at those things. And she picks, she's one of those people that doesn't seem like she would be crafty, because she doesn't ever pick up crafts. But I taught her how to crochet, and within an hour she had like the most perfect crocheted scarf I've ever seen in my life. Like, it was just...
And there's many people, you want to hate them, but she's amazing. She's so nice at you. You got to love her. Yeah, keeps me licking my thread again, teaching people bad habits. So
a few stitchy friends, and then the nice thing is the online community. I feel like we found a lot of cool people through FlossTube and just YouTube in general, and the Facebook group. So I think I've been interacting with more stitchers that way. Yeah. Mostly because of the pandemic as well. We've not really been seeing.
That's true. Yeah.
So, but hopefully that will change this summer. Hopefully we'll get to see more people.
I know, it's nice. I always I mean, not that we've been travelling for, the last couple of years, but I always half expect, when you're travelling, if you're on a plane or something, to see somebody else cross stitching. I'm always really excited, thinking, oh, it'd be great if there was another cross stitcher, and but I've never seen anybody else cross stitching on a plane or anything like that, which is kind of sad. But yeah, so you're lucky if you've got some.
Yeah, what about you? You've got me. Well, I've got you. We stitch together. Well, actually, we don't really stitch together. too much because usually it's in the evenings.
That's true.
We're not really together through the day.
Yeah.
And then in the evenings, I'm at home and you're at home.
Yeah, we're often talking about cross stitch. We often message each other about cross stitching. Not really. I mean, it's one of these things, as you said, the online community is really good. I've had so many, you know, stitchers message me and, you know, asking things, and, you know, you kind of get to know people that way. But I don't really, my friend Janice used to cross stitch, but she moved away, so I don't have really anybody to stitch with, which is sad, but anyway.
So here's my progress so far. I started from the top, did you? Or you're
No, I
starting
started
from the bottom? Oh, well, I'm at the bottom of the flower, right?
Yeah.
You're starting there, yeah. I started at the top.
I'm super slow. I honestly,
You're not, though.
I am the queen of
You're
slow.
super quick.
I'm not. I'm the queen of slow stitching. Really, really slow. But I get there in the end and I enjoy it, and that's all that matters. It's not supposed to be a race. So.
I always have knots.
You'll probably always have knots, but see, when you come to do French knots, you'll probably not get a knot.
Like I won't be able to make them.
Yeah, that's what I used to be. I used to never be able to make the knot. I would sit and follow the instructions, and then I would make the, you know, like wrap it around my needle and put it through, and then the whole thing would just disappear through the hole. I could never make a knot. So it'll probably be the way you are.
So I guess that leads nicely into the next question. Do you like French knots? Comment below. I actually have never done French knots. It's something I still haven't learned.
That might be our next video.
We're going to do that in a video. Rona will teach me how to do French knots. So I think that'll be good because I'll probably have very authentic questions on...
Which is good though, isn't it? When it's like that. Yeah.
Oh, how do I turn this back on? We've lost our pattern. It's gone black.
So I
How do I turn it back on? Oh, it's over here. We got iPads recently, and neither of us are very tech savvy. I can't even turn it back on. There we go. I got it. What's your favorite piece that you've either stitched or you have hanging on your wall? So I have a few. I have a piece of hanging on my wall that you actually stitched for your dad, all of the whiskey distilleries in Scotland, and when he passed away and you went back to Scotland to his house to get it, well, not to get it, but
we brought it back with us.
I said I wanted it, so you brought it back, and that's now hanging on my wall. So it's kind of nice to have something from his house, because since we live very far away, I don't have really much from him or from his house, so that was nice to have on the wall in my house now.
I think my favourite piece would probably be the Mighty Samurai that I stitched for your dad. Yeah, because that was my first. No, it probably wasn't my first big one. It was my first really complicated big one, because I've done a few big ones, but they weren't, you know, they were a lot easier to stitch. So that one was really tricky in the fact that I had a lot of blended threads, and you know, if you made a mistake, it was really hard to unpick it and whatever. So I started to stitch that. That was supposed to be, I think it was supposed to be like a birthday present or something. I never got it done in time, and then it was going to be an anniversary present, and it still wasn't done in time. Then it was a Christmas present, and it still wasn't done. You know, so it took me forever to get it done. And then when I did finally finish it, I went to wash it, and the red dye came out the thread, and I was literally I was standing over the sink crying because I'd done all this work, and the red was bleeding out, and I couldn't believe it, because it was a kit as well with, you know, what I thought was really good thread. But luckily I knew what to do, so I left the cold tap running, and I left it sitting in the sink, and it, you know, eventually it was okay. But
why did you wash it?
I think because
bother at that point? Like, because that's one of the things I'm always scared about, because I hear of these stories that I'm like, does your stitching really need to be washed? Like, unless you're like eating Cheetos or something over it. Like,
I was eating Cheetos.
No, that's definitely not something you would eat. But
No, I think because I don't always wash my stitching, especially small ones, but I think because that one had taken me so long, it was a wee bit grubby, you know, with my hands, you know, around the scroll frame, because I'd done it on a scroll frame, so it was a wee bit grubby. So it did really need freshened up.
Isn't there like a spray or something? You could just like, you know, spray bottle it or something.
I don't know. I don't
It just seems so risky to like, I don't think I would. I think I'd just leave my grubby fingerprints on it.
The thing was, I have washed so many pieces before that and since that.
Okay.
So that was the first time I'd actually ever had thread run, and it you know, would be like the biggest piece you've ever done. You know, the one piece where you don't want it to happen. So when I did it, I really wasn't sort of nervous about washing it because I'd never had that problem before.
Right.
You know, so.
Well, that's a good lead into any stitching disasters. Have you had any?
Oh yes. Is Eirinn looking a wee bit guilty here?
A little bit. And now I know how big of a deal it is because now that I stitch and like I really understand how much time, whereas when I was a kid I didn't know, you know, you don't really
So you better explain what the disaster was there.
I spilt big spaghetti bolognese all over your stitching.
So you counted that as one of your disasters as one as my disasters.
I think that's a bit of a both there.
Yeah.
Favorite place to travel to?
I just like to travel. I don't really mind.
Okay, so favorite place that you've been so far in the world?
See,
or favorite trip you've taken?
Yeah, I was going to say favorite trip. Favorite trip would probably be with you to. Either Paris or the Isle of Skye.
Yeah, both of those were good.
I'm trying to think which one would be, you know.
They were so different in...
Yeah, so what's your favourite trip then? Because you've done a lot of travelling.
I mean, really any that have good memories like that, you know.
It's the thing, isn't it?
So, I think my first time really travelling on my own was to the Czech Republic. I studied abroad there and I really, really liked it. So comment below if you've travelled, where do you like to go? Do you take your stitching with you? I always do. I always take my stitching for either in the plane or, you know, for in the evenings at you know, if you're in a hotel or something like that. So yeah, I always have some kind of stitching with me. Usually just a smaller piece that's easy to lug around rather than a huge, you know, thing on a great big scroll frame or something like that. Yeah, just something like small projects like this. Yeah, that's why I like when the cross stitch magazines, they used to give you the little free kits. When I say they used to, they still do. There used to be more magazines that did that. So I always liked those, and I still have a tin full of the kits that I haven't stitched because they're handy for, you know. There he is. You done the top already? I'm not even halfway through. You see, I told you I'm the queen of slow stitching. You've been chatting more. I'm also struggling to get my needle through. Yeah, I'm also, this is my Ada, so I'm used to the feel of it because it's a bit stiffer than the stuff that you use. And, you know, not making excuses, but I usually stitch in a hoop. I'm not that great at stitching in my hand. I always mean to, but by the time I'm set up in the evening, by the time I've got the baby onto bed, and by the time I want to stitch, if I just have it in front of me, I'm stitching. Like yeah, it doesn't matter, does it? You keep saying everybody, you know, each to their own, as long as it works for you. It really doesn't matter. And it is just an excuse because I'm just a slow stitcher. There we go. So this is how much I've done. So good. Queen of slow stitching. Right, so the next question. This would be, you know, just for people to get to know you. Something about you. Something about something about you that people wouldn't know or maybe wouldn't expect. It's a really random question. You go first then. About me or about you? About you. I really thought about it. I just thought about asking that's why I wanted you to go, because I need to think of the answer. I was like, well, I'll get her on the spot, but put myself on the spot. Something people wouldn't know about me. I mean, there's the obvious
I
one
would say
that isn't obvious.
that we're both.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. And we're on the same wavelength, but we're both black belts in
Yeah.
Taekwondo.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna.
Yeah. So yeah.
But I didn't want to say that in case that was yours, and then I left you hanging without something to say. That's why I didn't say it.
Oh, you're just so kind.
I know.
Yeah. I think that's the only thing I could really say. That's really. Although I suppose you could say anything, couldn't you? Really? But yeah, people are usually quite surprised when we say we're black belts, and that even we did Taekwondo
For lots
for
of
a
years.
long time. Yeah.
I've not done it in a long time,
Yeah.
as you can tell by these full happy arms.
And the only reason I got into Taekwondo was because Erin's brother did Taekwondo, and she used to sit at the back when she was like 3 or 4, and she would follow along, but she was too young to do classes. And then eventually when she was old enough, she didn't want to do it, which was quite a surprise because she was always at the back of the class following along. So we were trying to encourage her to do it because we just thought it would be a good physical activity to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so then she said, as typical Erin, threw down the gauntlet. She said, well, I'll do it if you do it, mummy. And I was trying to say to her, but I'll not even be in the same class as you, because, you know, you'd be in the kids class and I'd be in the adults class. And because she was a wee stroke, I mean, you still had. And she's like, well, that's it, you know, either you do it, you know, or we'll both do it, or none at all. So I was like, okay. So she went into the class and carried on. I thought, I'll just do like 2 or 3 classes. And then once she's hooked, then I can just gracefully drop out. And then what was about, how many years did we end up doing it for? A long time. So I didn't actually drop out, which was, it was good, because we had good times together, didn't we? We always did our gradings together, so we always got our belts at the same time. Especially when you were a wee bit older and you were doing the adult classes, we did it. When you were a kid, you had to do your tests separately because you tested with other kids. But then when you were older, we did it together, which was really nice.
Yeah, it was. So, comment something below that people might not know about you.
It's always interesting to hear what people do and everything,
Yeah,
isn't
people always have such interesting stories. We're not very good at this Q&A thing, are we?
I don't know. Do you have a favourite colour of thread?
Oh yeah, 210. Which might actually be what you're stitching.
It might be.
It is. Yeah, 210. I use 210 all the time. I just think it's such a nice shade of purple. Yeah. What about you?
I don't know. I mean, I like, I'm going to put you on the spot, 3839. She does this to me all the time. She'll throw out a random number and she'll say, what colour is it? And I'm supposed to know.
Is it a dark red?
No.
Oh, I don't know then.
It's a blue.
Really?
Yeah, I like that. But it's kind of funny because I like lots of different colours, so I think it just depends on my mood.
We've also just started getting into variegated threads, so if you have any favourite variegated, leave those numbers or the names below, because that's been fun, hasn't it? Kind of doing some of those, because you were always very much like,
I don't like variegated thread, and then when I stitch with it, I think it's not so much I don't like variegated thread. I feel like you have to be quite careful what you stitch it with. You know, like what patterns you stitch using the variegated thread. But yeah.
And then we follow quite a few accounts on Instagram. Storm Stitches comes to the top of my head. She's always using really nice variegated threads for her patterns. So, you know, like seeing them, you're like, oh yeah, I want to do that too.
Yeah, because that one you were doing with your cat, the thread itself was
I could show that.
That was
oh, it's over there. It's in that baggie.
That was a funny, like, if you showed me the skein of thread, I would have been like, oh, no, that's not for me. But when I saw your stitching, I was like, oh, that is really, really nice. So it's funny how it just looks so different when you're when you're actually using it.
Well, I know we're not close to finishing, but perhaps we should wrap up the video because it's getting a bit long. And we can...
Right, shall we show how far we've got? See, look at you. Look how far.
Yeah, but whose
Look
is
what I've
neater?
got. I don't know. See, yours is fine. Yours is perfect.
Yeah, but you're not.
See?
You're blind. You got to look at it closely.
Look, it's fine. Yeah.
One
See?
thing is, I noticed that my thread starts to spin, and I leave it too long, and then you can see that it started to twist in some places. And then once I notice, I probably should be wearing my glasses. Then I fix it, and I see how much neater it does make it.
You know, if you leave it to dangle like that, or when you when you
That's
bring
what
your
I do.
or even when you bring your needle up like this, if you notice it's twisting, you can just twist it like that.
Oh, I've never thought about doing it on that
can
side.
do it
I
that
usually
way.
let it dangle, but I don't think I do it enough.
Yeah, but that's another way to do it. If you're, when you bring the needle up and you notice that it's really twisting, you can just twist it like that.
That's a good idea. I'll start doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we
So
hope
how far did you get through on your tulip with us? I bet you all got further than me. I retain the crown for the Queen of Slow Stitching.
We hope you enjoyed stitching with us. So once again, this is on our website, tangledthreadsandthings.com. You can go there and download this and other charts too.
We've got lots of other ones.
This was just fun to sketch and blab, and we look forward to reading your comments and learning something about you. And we'll do this again sometime soon with a different chart, or maybe finish this one, who knows, or we'll leave these for years like this.
Probably.
Half done. So, well, happy stitching, and we'll see you in our next video.